Do you know the DeLorean from the movie Back to the Future? Well, of course you do. Everybody knows the DeLorean. Well, DeLorean Labs is actually looking to bring this car back to the future with this insane Web3 collaboration and essentially having the first car pre-order process on chain, which is really, really cool. And so I want to talk to you a little bit about that today. But before we get in, I did want to make it clear that DeLorean Labs has sponsored this video. I'm really excited to make this video and I do really appreciate their support. Of course, it does help me keep the lights on and support the channel and all this type of good stuff. But I did want to talk to you about this today because it does seem like a really interesting project that could actually help drive that next level of adoption. But before we got too far into it, I did just want to make it clear that they have sponsored this video and I do really appreciate them doing that. So without further ado, let's go on ahead and let's talk about DeLorean Labs. So DeLorean Labs, of course, is trying to bring back the iconic DeLorean car in an EV format. And they're looking to do this through essentially selling pre-order NFTs on the Sui network, which is really cool. I think this is an interesting way people can essentially have their NFT. Their NFT is their ability to order the car when it is ready. You can trade them around. You know, maybe the first one is more popular than the second one because the first one comes first, all this type of stuff. They're starting to sell them right now. So if you are interested, of course, we're going to be talking about all of this today, but they've got a lot of really interesting things. The first thing that you can see here is they've actually started to put a decent bit of money into their advertising and their marketing efforts. You can see they actually had Sir Patrick Stewart, the guy from Star Trek, going on and actually helping them with a video to kind of help hype up the car. And you can see now this is more of like a mock-up here, but they've got this kind of like DeLorean in the back and it looks all futuristic and cool, very similar to the one in the movie. Of course, it's even more futuristic because it will be an electric vehicle, which is pretty cool. But they've really put a lot of time and effort into a lot of this so far. You can also see they're working with a lot of very large players within the space. The SHIB token, you can see, has been talking about it. You can also see Phantom has been talking about it as well. And Sui has been talking about it, of course, as well, because this is built on the Sui network, which is really, really cool. So the really interesting part about what DeLorean Labs is doing here with the actual DeLorean car itself is they are of course a physical Web 2 product. This is going to be a real car that you can drive, and it's really, really interesting to see how they're actually leveraging Web 3 to get the best out of the Web 3 technology. Now, of course, for those of you who may have pre-ordered cars in the past, it's a little bit interesting and different because when you do pre-order a car, there's a level of like illiquidity to this. You've ordered the car, you generally have to wait till you get the car, and then you can sell it off if you don't want it anymore. Well, the thing that that DeLorean is doing, which is quite interesting, is you can see they have a marketplace right here. There's going to be a total of 1,272 cars made. You can see it looks like the first 2 are already reserved, and then all the ones after that. Actually, we have the 6th is reserved, so there's a couple that are unlisted. There's some that are reserved. There's a whole bunch of different ones. You can see it looks like we're up to 300 and it's 2,500 USDC to essentially reserve this slot. And then from there, you can use the DeLorean marketplace to have almost instant liquidity if you are looking to, maybe trade out of one into another. If you're, there's peer-to-peer trading, all this type of stuff, the typical crypto stuff that you would expect. The thing that I find quite interesting about this particular offer, though, is that this is bringing in a whole new world of people because, I would imagine that we're going to see a decent bit of Web 2 people looking to get on such an iconic car from the past. And this is going to be a really interesting and I think fairly organic and natural way to introduce people into the Web 3 ecosystem, which I do always find quite exciting. For those of you who have watched the channel, you do know that I'm very into all of the use cases and actual like real utility that crypto can provide. So I do find that really quite interesting. Now they do also have their own token. It is called the DMC token. You can see it right down here. Right here, and you can see that the DMC token is essentially you are able to use it to do a couple of different things. One, you can actually spend it to reserve the vehicles. You can also just use USDC to reserve the vehicles as well, if that is something that you are interested in, kind of whichever way you want to go. In addition to smart driving, which it sounds like the DMC token is going to be powering their self-driving type of protocol. I will have to kind of see what the details look like on that for certain, but that could be a pretty interesting use case for the coin as well. So pretty interesting things going on here. There's a lot to talk about and a lot to see here. You also can see if you are interested in joining the community, they do have 16,000 Telegram members, 23,000 Discord members, and then of course, uniting the movie fans from the Back to the Future movie, car enthusiasts, because this is, of course, if we go back here, you can see a really kind of cool mock-up of the car so far. So I think some car enthusiasts will really appreciate this. And then as well as crypto people who are looking to support people supporting the crypto system, right? So that there's a lot of, I think, different people in different kind of walks of life that will be quite interested in this. Now, they also are going to have an X Spaces event, so you can also stay tuned there as well. If we go over here, you can just click on DeLorean Labs, and you can see, their followers, all the various things, if you want to kind of stay up to date with all the things that they have going on. So if you are interested, you can feel free to do that as well. Now, we also do have a roadmap for the future as well, and we could see in Q1 of 2025, so this of course already will have passed. We had the DMC community presale on the SWE launch pad. Q2, we're going to see the DMC token launch, the Flux powered reservations via the marketplace, which of course we can see now. We have the staking program and the Motorverse integration. The staking, if you look here on DMC, staking is still not quite out yet, so we will be seeing that here relatively soon. And then the Motorverse integration, I think, will be coming soon as well. And then in Q3, we will be seeing DeLorean merch hitting retail, as well as DMC perks kind of in addition to that, as we mentioned, as one of the perks of holding the DMC token. And then Q4 2025, we will be seeing the Flux Drive Analytics testing beginning. And then in Q2 of 2026, we will be seeing the Alpha 5 EV deliveries starting, prioritizing the DMC holders. So of course, this is where we will be seeing these deliveries going on. This car, of course, is called the Alpha 5, but is going to have the DeLorean logo in the back. So that is kind of what we're seeing from the DeLorean Labs team. Looks like they have some real actual firepower behind this. They are an actual automaker in the real world, so their ability to deliver these cars does not appear to be just kind of hype at this point. They seem to actually have the ability to execute here, which of course is always a good thing to see. So if you are interested and you are looking to jump in, you can set up a SUI wallet via Slush Wallet or Phantom for the Q2 2025 token launch. You can also follow DeLorean Labs on X, which we do have right here, you can see there. And then you can also join the Galaxy space to track quests and climb the leaderboard. And then of course, if you are interested in buying or reserving a slot for the DeLorean, you can come here and make an offer on some of these reservations as well. You can see the average price looks like it's going to be about 33,000 USDC, and the reservation price is 2,500. So that's kind of what it's looking like so far on the marketplace if you are interested. And this is something that isn't just about crypto. It's actually about doing things that make sense, bridging Web 2 and Web 3. I'm interested to see maybe in the future if we can see some sort of like on-chain title. I think that would be pretty cool as well. So we'll have to see, kind of how that ends up working out. But this is overall a really interesting and exciting project that I think is a little bit unusual from what we normally see in the crypto space. But I do really like how we're trying to bridge Web 2 and Web 3 together in the physical and digital world. And I think this is a pretty seamless way to do it. For people who are looking to register or reserve cars, but maybe need some short-term liquidity or want to just trade them around or speculate on the value of the cars going around, things like that. And this is obviously a really interesting way to do this. There might be people who are willing to jump up in line as well. We saw a really long waiting list for the Cybertruck, and of course people were waiting years for that. So if this is a similar situation, you might have people willing to kind of trade up places to get their car up first. So pretty interesting situation there. Overall, I think this is a project that is quite interesting. I'm really interested to see kind of how these cars end up looking in the real world. I think given kind of the nostalgia factor and the IP that it's associated with, this could draw a lot of mainstream or virality interactions with this type of car. So I am quite interested to see how this goes. Again, massive thank you to DeLorean Labs for sponsoring this video. I think it's a really, really interesting project, and I'm more than happy to help kind of spread awareness and share kind of what they're doing and what they've got going on. So overall, if you guys found this video interesting, of course, a like and a subscribe does help. Also, I would love to hear what your guys' thoughts are about this whole DeLorean project. I personally think it's really interesting. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts as well. Do you think this kind of bridging physical and digital with some of these integrations that in my mind seem to make a lot of sense car a good idea? What are your thoughts here? I'd love to hear them in the comment section below. And also, what are your thoughts on the DMC token? If you are interested in getting it, if you do end up getting anything like that, just feel free to let me know in the comment section as well below. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.